26th day of the month of September in the year of our Lord 2024. Bolt Action 3rd edition is officially released. Hello everyone and welcome back to the pit for this new episode of Talk Bolt Action. Needless to say, the big news is that now it's official. 3rd edition Bolt Action is here. Yay! And now, to surprise you, I actually won't be starting to go in full depth on the content of the third edition manual. Some of my first impressions I already gave you in my sudden and abrupt live stream a couple of days ago that I recorded on the day I got my paws on my physical copy of the manual itself. But for today's video I want to start from the ending, so to say. Namely, I would like to talk a bit about the other news of today, because today not only we had again the official release of 3rd edition, but we also had some digital releases, digital only releases from Warlord Games. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the downloadable PDF army lists for all the minor nations. There are like 12 of them online. And on a slightly sadder note, we have our first FAQs, and okay, I can live with that. And we also have our first Erratas, and that is something I am less thrilled about. Of course, now Warlord said that, I know full well that it's really hard to produce a document, maybe a book, allow content in general, without having some errors creep in. But still, it's not exactly something you look forward to, seeing a day one errata. It just doesn't give you a nice feeling about the company. Again, I'm not dissing Warlord Games for that, but again, when we will talk about those erratas, there is still something I have to say about that. And before I forget, in today's video, I also have some bonus content for y'all, because my friend Josh at Friuli War Games was so kind as to provide me, and this means to provide you, with a nice unboxing video for the Battle of the Bulge starter set for 3rd edition Bolt Action. So stay tuned until the end, because you might be interested to actually see what's inside the box if you are considering a purchase, whether if you are a new player to the game, or you are a veteran, an experienced veteran. You will, I really hope you will find that content interesting. I will add a bookmark on the search page, so if you want to look at them, you have easiness of reach. So we were talking about minor nations. Again, it's 12 of them. We have in alphabetical order. We have Belgium, Bulgaria, Finland, France, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Norway, the Partisans, Poland, Romania, and the Netherlands. Now, some of these are really, really, really minor nations as far as World War II is concerned, and that their armies either were not existent, or they were basically trounced in the first months, in the first period of World War II. And I'm speaking Belgium, for example, or Greece, or even Norway, or things like that. Still, I think it was really a nice touch of World Games to provide everybody with an army list. Of course, these army lists, as are those in the main rulebook, they are very basic. They basically all follow the same pattern. You have archetypical units. For example, you have the entry for a light mortar and the options to upgrade it to a medium mortar or a heavy mortar. The same goes with howitzers and so on. Again, there would be no real point in having three different entries for what is basically the same thing. And again, these are all temporary army lists until Warlord released their dedicated army book. Of course, these miners won't have their army books on their own. They won't be alone. They probably will be grouped in twos, threes, or fours, or whatever. We will see. That's not the point. That's not important. What is important is that whatever army you had collected, or whatever the army you were planning on collecting, sorry, you have rules at your disposal, rules that are third edition valid rules, so you can play whatever you have, or whatever you plan on having. And this gets double thumbs up for me. It's a nice touch. It was a must, but again, it's nice that they already put these out on launch day. Very good. I don't think it's too much interesting to go in full detail on all the national special rules. I think it's suffice to say that they are not all unique. Many of them are repeated from one army to the other. Some of them are even in common with some of the main nations, so to speak. For example, taking France as an example, they have a forward artillery doctrine special rule, which basically is the same as the English have. So their forward artillery officer is allowed to call 2 artillery barrages in one game. The second of the first one is resolved. Again, I fully understand that there would be no real point, no real need in this moment, in this particular moment, to have different rules for everyone. So again, it makes sense. Let me just say something about the Italian special rules. Well, they actually have just one. It's called defensive strategy. I'm not going to delve now in the historicalness of these rule, if you will, because actually, in many, if not most occasions, Italy wasn't fighting a defensive war. Italy was the offensive on many theaters. Of course, in the late part of the African campaign, where the British and the American made their counterattack, the Africa Corps and the Italian legions were on the defensive, and of course they were mostly on the defensive after the Allied arrived in Sicily, and from there made their way up to central Italy in the later part of the war. But again, that's not the point I'm trying to make. What I was going to say, what interests me the most to say game-wise, is this basically is a callback to the original second edition Italian army book special rule, which was again focused on the defensive aspect of the war, and so it also takes a full step back, if not 2 or 3 steps back, from the rules that the world introduced in the Case Blue campaign book. Now, I will say 2 things. First, the Army Special Rules in the official Italian Army book were bad, especially the the Avanti Savoia rule was silly, because it was the only army rule that, yes, gave you a bonus if you were winning. Yes, not very impactful, but most of all, it punished you harshly if you were losing, and that made no sense at all, really at all. From a gaming point of view, it made no sense whatsoever. It made Italians suffer badly in terms of gameplay. So they did a 180 turn, so a whole turnabout in the Case Blue. They gave the Italians plenty of new army rules, and most of them were stupid. The M battalions were definitely too strong for the points. You saw spamming of Camicie Nere armies everywhere, and Savoia cavalry. Oh, it was horrible in my opinion. I hated that. So for now, we are going back to the origins, so to speak. Average rules. Some are in common with the Finnish, in that an Italian unit set up on the table before turn one begins can already start in ambush. Italian players can reroll the die in the artillery barrage, because the artillery is supposedly already ranged in on no man's land. This ties nicely with the fact that artillery observers, in my opinion, are kind of a must-have in third edition, because they lower the point cost and are still very effective. So that's it. Finland remains a strange army, but they have some good synergy with their army special rules, and also very interesting are the special rules that have nations like Bulgaria, for example, that basically, or Hungary, that state that when fighting against them, opponents are not allowed to use their special deployment rules, for example, for spotters or snipers or for the observers. This is already a nice touch, but also very strong is the fact that the opponents are not allowed to outflank against them. So that must all come from the main table edge, so to speak. And this is a very can be very strong, I think, and I feel. So now let's move to FAQ. Uh, some of them, there are not too many of them. There are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them actually. Some of them, yes, of course, it's nice to have an official ruling on them. Yes, maybe rules could have been worded in such a way to make them clearer, but most of them are kind of logic. For example, take the question: does an indirect fire unit that is ranged in on an artillery unit retain its ranging when the target artillery crew is killed? If the gun is recrewed as per the artillery rules, does the ranging unit get to stay ranged in on the freshly recruited gun new unit? Operates logic that the answer is yes, because when you're ranging in, you are ranging in on a spot rather than a single unit. So it only makes sense that if another unit arrives in the same spot, you keep shooting in that place. Again, nothing too dramatic. Something interesting I found interesting is about the key positions victory condition that states that you place T3 plus 4 objective markers, which is a lot more as opposed to the second edition scenarios. So you place D3 plus 4 objectives, but if you are not allowed, if you don't have a valid placement for all of them due to minimum distances between themselves and the table edge, you just ignore the ones that cannot be placed. Nothing dramatic again. And then we have the Erratas themselves. Again, some of them are actual mistakes. Take, for example, the one about 2 or more weapons on the same mount. The manual gave an example that you had a quad-linked HMG. Each shot basically two shots per weapon for a total of 8 shots, when actually it was just a mistake, because we know that you have the attack dice for MMGs and HMGs on vehicles, so it was clear that it was intended to be 12 shots. So that's a honest mistake, and the same as some other wording issues. While some of the erratas, in my opinion, and I'm fully convinced of this, are just like last minute adjustment. For example, take the first errata. Page 182, multiple launchers, second paragraph, first sentence, change the sentence as follows. The unifier and multiple launcher, whether an infantry or a vehicle, cannot use spotters for line of sight, okay, and also receives D3 pin markers whether they hit or miss the target. In the big rulebook, it says that the unit receives one pin marker. Now, and again, I don't want to talk about further about my impressions in this particular video. We will have time for those in another one. I don't believe that they wrote that by mistake. What I think that happened is basically the world decided to receive some negative feedback about balancing issues on multiple launchers, and yes, I think we could have a big multiple launchers problems, again due to the spamming that the Platoon system allows you to do. So having a single pin marker is not really an issue, because you will have a platoon commander laying around giving a +2 bubble. So even if you have inexperienced troops, it's still a 9- roll to activate. So giving a D3 pin markers make it so that it can be impossible for some multiple launchers, or it's unlikely for some multiple launchers to shoot every single round, and they may take a round off with a rally order, for example. And then other silly things like the one on for Imperial Japan, where for infantry squad unit entry they just give you the option for the squad to be given the engineer's special rule for +1 point per model. You don't get to pick a flamethrower. It's just to say, oh gosh, the Japanese don't have access to engineers, but we have the engineers platoon. We have the new engineers rule, so let's just give them some engineers. Go take this, have some engineers, and go and have fun. Okay, this is it. But again, and I will state this firmly once again, I might have some bias for some of the decision that were took about the third edition, but before I start calling names or saying things aren't good, I want to have a few full games of third edition under my belt. I hope that soon I will be able to arrange them with my gaming pals at Friuli War Games. Of course, I will bring battle reports, third edition battle reports. The first couple of them will be more likely than not learning videos, both for me, the players, and for you, the viewers. So they will more likely than not have a slower pace as opposed to the battle reports I plan on bringing to the channel. But I think because I think it's interesting in the first months or whatever, in the first weeks of a new edition of the game, that it can be more beneficial for the viewers, for you, to be more like guided in the new dynamics of third edition. So remembering ourselves and yourselves of the new rules, of the new two hit rolls, of the new mechanics, and so on. All right, I think this is it for today. As I mentioned earlier, I won't leave you alone. I will leave you with Josh and his unboxing video. As usual, if you like this content, and in general if you want to support me and help this channel grow, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Thank you everybody for watching. I will be with you back soon with more videos. Until the time, be safe and ciao ciao.
Hey everyone, this is Josh. I'm here thanks to Roberto on the pit, bringing you an unboxing on the newly released Bolt Action version 3 starter box, Battle of the Bulge. As you can tell from the graphic, we have German Fallschirmjäger fighting the American GIs. The graphic is beautiful. This box is very, very promising. Let's see what's inside. So, first of all, we have a very nice booklet where you can find all the information you need about the sprues, assembling your forces, assembling your Germans, some scenarios of play with the content of the box. Here we have 3 different scenarios, very, very nice. But the most important thing for me is painting your models. A quick guide to painting the models within the box. Very useful for everybody who is approaching Bolt Action for the first time, thanks to this box. A dice bag, very, very handy dice bag. This is something that Warlord didn't need to put in, but it's very, very useful to have. Beautiful. Thank you to Mirella for assembling this box. We have a smart sheet, which also has a ruler on the side, which it could be useful. It could be useful for somebody who might not have a measuring tape. Play sheet with all the most important informations to be able to quickly access all the information you need during your first tests or the game's Bolt Action. And now let's get into the content, the real content of the box. D6 bags and order dice. D6 dice and order dice in this bag. Very handy. You have 5 green and 3 gray. A really nice touch. These are markers for vehicles to show if the vehicle is destroyed, on flames, or just for a scenic purpose. We have a decal sheet for the M8 Greyhound or M20. And here is the stat card where you have all the information you need on the vehicle for quick access during the games. Very nice from Warlord to actually include some terrain in the box set. Very, very nice, especially for those newcomers to the hobby, which might not have access to terrain immediately. So very, very nice to be able to have something to play with. Here we have the plastic M8 Greyhound / M20. As you can tell, very nice model as per usual from Warlord's Plastics. Now we have the new models presented in this box. So here we have the German Fallschirmjäger, the Elite Fallschirmjäger. This is a new set, newly released for version 3. This sprue is full of extra details, full of options, including SMGs, assault rifles, LMGs, Panzerfausts, a nice shovel for close quarter battles. Really, this kit has it all. It's beautiful, beautiful kit. On each sprue, you have 6 German Fallschirmjägers, and the box includes 3. So a total of 18 German soldiers. Next, we have the American sprue, which has the winter Americans in greatcoats. Even here, we have a new kit released for version 3. Also, these sprue are full of options to include BARs, rifles, Thompson submachine guns, M1 carbines, I believe there are also, M3 grease guns, you name it, you have it all. Beautiful. This also allows you to assemble a bazooka team, which is very, very useful. Options for commander type units, or models, excuse me. Again, a very, very, very nice sprue. Included in the box is also the new version 3 bolt action rulebook. This is the pocket version, soft cover, even though it's still a hefty book coming in at 320 pages. Very quick read through. Saw us seeing that the first section, about 50 pages, has generic World War II information, which could be very useful for anybody approaching World War II as a topic or bolt action as a game to get a better glance of what all happened throughout World War II. This is about 50 pages. Then you go into the actual rules of the game, which includes movement, shooting, fighting, unit special rules, special weapons, vehicles, buildings, artillery, you name it. Everything you need to know to play bolt action. At the half of the book, you have scenarios. So all these scenarios you can play using bolt action. Then we have what everybody has most anticipated, the force selection, which is the chapter that illustrates all the platoons you can use to build your force in bolt action. This includes rifle platoons, armor platoons, recce platoons, you name it. After that, we go into the actual army lists. Included in the rulebook are the 5 major nations. So Germany, we have Germany with their special rules and all the different selections. You have United States with their special rules and all the selections. To go into Great Britain, their rules and selections, Soviet Union, and to conclude, the Imperial Japan. Again, these are the 5 major nations in the rulebook, and we're all waiting for the armies of, and the minor nations come out on release day, 26th of September. And this is the rulebook version 3 bolt action. To finish off the video, additional content are of course the bases for the models and the templates you need to play the game of bolt action. Again, this is the starter set, Battle of the Bulge for bolt action version 3. I can't wait to assemble this. This is a beautiful, beautiful box for anybody getting into the hobby or simply wanting to expand their current collection. This is Josh from the pit. Thanks, Roberto, and I'll see you next time.